Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon live from Bar Canada at the D. It's turning into college game day in here, Kelley. Yeah, you're not on again. There we go.
We got John out of the crowd. Look at the sign.
I love a numbers
As
game.
usual, it's jam-packed in here for a show.
Jam-packed. It's turning into college game day.
John couldn't even get in. I had to get him a credential.
He's the guy who's going to say he's going to be in the commercial 15 years from now. He goes, it all started with one sign. On the other side of his sign, by the way, he has a whole numbers game bingo thing.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. It's great.
That's
it's
awesome.
Fantastic.
Like mishpucha in there. And
Forgot the sushi spot, though. He did say that. Yeah.
Hobbs Dobbs he's got in there. I want to go back and look at that thing. It's pretty clever. It is Thursday, and around about this time, you know what we do. Unscripted with the crack man, Bill Krackomberger. Oh, yeah.
We even told him what spot to go to this week.
What's happening, Billy?
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
How are you?
Nice little brisk 44 degrees outside.
It's a brisk desert 44.
Yeah.
It's a dry brisk. That's what they say.
It is. You really have to. You know, it's funny you say that. People come to the Vegas and they get like Vegas throat and get their lips get chapped.
Vegas
year round.
Yeah.
They don't realize you have to. You really do. You have to moisturize. You have to bring yourself a little chapstick and.
My bottom lip gets thrashed.
Yeah, the bottom lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have.
Destroyed.
It's always my hands. It's the webbing in your hands. You know.
You're right. You have to have.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I have this little bag that I carry with me, and I used to make fun of my father for having a bag, and now I have a bag.
Isn't it funny? The older you get, the smarter your father gets.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And there's like, if anyone ever like thought to rob me, they'd be really upset.
Oh,
there's no money in there. There's like mints. Like I always say that I have my
where's your cell
charger?
Phone thing? I used it the other day.
You got your little
thing. Look at my nail clippers.
You got your little phone cleaner.
sanitizer. Yeah, there's like things in there that are just so ridiculous.
Wow, you have moisturizers and creams.
No, you have to. You have to.
Ointments.
You know, I realize I still have a $1,000 chip now. I forgot about that. I got a $1,000 chip from Dana White still in my bag. I will go over to Red Rock one of these days and cash that.
How do we feel about the word ointment, by the way, Kelley? It's kind of creepy word.
It's a creepy word. Yeah.
Ointments. That was like one of those things they used in the turn of like the 1800s, and they're still.
My mom used to say, "Do you have an ointment?"
Well, that's right. Neither of you guys drink, but all these seltzers that are so popular now, I'm like, ew, like it feels like I'm tasting medicine from like 1926 or something. That's what I always like relate it to.
I'm gonna start drinking though.
Yeah. What's got you to drink?
Nah, just
for the hell of it.
All my buddies drink. It's a winter time. I may just start.
Just to add flavor to your life.
Just to add something.
Yeah. I would like to see a drinking Bill Krackomberger.
Yeah, let me be there for night one of that.
How do you think that would go?
You know, I guess when I used to drink, you know, and I say like I never had a problem. I just never started drinking. But the couple times I went to a couple shows and maybe had a drink. I know once was like LL Cool J was at Caesars, and we had like a table like right next to his. He was really nice, and
Were you both wearing Kangols?
Yeah. No, he was bald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that
would have been the moment where he's like, "Get that Kangol off
get
your
that
head."
off. Yeah, no, and so we shared a bottle at the table, so I did have a couple drinks there. I'll tell you what, I understand why people drink. It loosens you up. You feel a little, you know what I mean? I'd be a happy drunk if I started drinking.
Yeah.
I just never drank. I just, because I like to be in high school. I maybe had some drinks, and I always like to be the guy that in charge the next day, and I want to have my.
That's exactly how I react.
Yeah, I have to
fight
be.
it. Yeah, I fight the buzz in college. Yeah.
And now there's like things you can do though. They have like a little station set up where they give you a needle and hydrate you and stuff now in the casinos, right? So
it's wild.
This is always for a non-drinker. This is always the question to a drinker. Is it the taste? Is it the feeling? Which is it?
Oh, the second.
The feeling.
Oh, yeah,
it's the feeling.
Yeah, like nobody's out there drinking beer because it tastes good.
Well, that's what I can't get past because I'm like, how do people drink this? This is awful.
I mean, like, it's one of those things that you acquire a taste, right? And then
why should
people
you have
would tweet at me right now and they'd be like, beer's delicious. And I'd be like, well, you've been drinking it for 20 years. And now when it hits your lips, it's a mental thing of like, yeah, I'm going to get buzzed after drinking a couple.
I think I've said this before, and I don't recommend this for fathers, but my dad, when I was 7 years old, he would drink Schlitz beer.
Oh, I remember that.
Schlitz, back in the day. Schlitz is old school.
Yeah.
And he gave me a sip. And I pretty much theorized that is the moment in my life that I could have gone two completely different ways, right? If I like it, God help me. But I hated it so much that was the end of that. He accomplished what he was set out to do.
Yeah, just
life of non-drinking.
Just like when we were kids and our parents, our grandparents smoked. They let us have a little drag. Go ahead. And you choke, and that was the end of it.
The thing about it is you never forget that moment. Like my mom also let me have a sip of coffee. Same reason I don't drink coffee now.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
Good call. I don't know when I started drinking coffee.
I was like,
by
never.
high school, I was like a cup a day already.
Yeah. By the way, parents of the year, I understand, but they got the job done. It worked out for them.
They did.
Yeah. No, so that, I mean, old school mentality on that stuff.
We're back in the D.
Yes, we are back in the. By the way, sorry for forgetting to tell you that. Yeah, we're at Circa.
Yeah, no.
Were you sprinting down Fremont?
I know I know that you go outside there and you're going to be asked multiple questions on the way, and it wasn't that bad. It was okay.
Yeah.
There, it's downtown, But then again, I want to tell you something. The Strip is no better. The Strip used to be, but the crosswalks over. By Aria and stuff, they filmed cops on the crosswalk from Planet Hollywood to Cosmo. Yeah. Just think about that. That's where they filmed it 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
That's where they filmed
But you're
cops.
so right. Like, you're so right.
No, it should be. Everyone's, there's thugs all over the place handing out CDs, wanting you. They hand it to you. So when someone hands me something, I just walk. Like, if I'm in a mall and someone's handing me an iPhone case, most people duck out of the way. No, I grab it and keep on walking.
Well,
and they have to come chase me a quarter of a mile down there.
But that's what you're referring to. That's the objectionable part. Objectionable part is that they get in your path.
Get in your path.
So you are required to make contact with them if you just keep going on your path. And some of us do. Some of us just, you're going to be there right through it. I've seen girls do this, right? Girls are just like, they get more upset than guys do sometimes about it. Because it really is an imposition.
Yeah.
But it's not just, I mean, it's all types, right? There are, even the girls with the feathers, right, are super aggressive and stuff, right?
Yes.
So...
Yes.
But what you have some of those guys, some of the guys that try to give you gifts and then ask for a tip or whatever afterward, right?
Yes.
Which is complete garbage.
But it's not just give you gifts. It's like you're in your face.
It was never like that when
Yeah.
I first came to Vegas, though, guys. It was never nothing like that. The Strip, you felt very safe walking. I'm not trying to discourage people from coming to Vegas and go walking down the Strip. Of course, you can walk down the Strip with your family in the daytime. It's different. It's not the same. Especially since the pandemic. I'll be nice and call it that.
It was the pandemic that changed it, right? During the pandemic, it was mayhem. But I think I don't want to have people be casual about it either. I think you're safe. I just think it's more annoying than anything. Now, I'm sure there's some people that have bad intentions for sure. I don't want to be naive.
There's a lot of cops on bikes and stuff. But you're right. Out in front of like the Bellagio and stuff, where the girls with the feathers, they're very aggressive.
I'll tell you what my latest pet peeve is about these crosswalks and talking about the Strip in Las Vegas is you have a lot of musical acts, right? Where every like 50 yards,
fantastic.
Where you have musical acts.
Yes.
Some are really, really good. Yeah. And some you're like, wow, this guy should probably have a recording contract. He plays the guitar great, or this guy's voice for a 65-year-old man is incredible, whatever. And then spiced in, every 3 acts, you have someone who is so bad that you just die laughing. You're like, how did this... And I don't know what the rules are. Do you have to get a license to be out there?
I think you do.
Yeah.
Especially down here.
Yeah.
Down here, they're very regimented. The guy that just stands straight.
Oh, here they have circles.
Yeah, you have to pay to reserve the circle.
You have to pay to reserve the circle. I think the Strip is the same kind of way. They've found a way to monetize it, so they do rent out the spaces, though.
There's a guy who's on the crosswalk between the Crystals Mall and the Cosmo.
Okay.
Who plays over a track of singing. And he has you couldn't come up with a worse singing voice if you tried. And you just die when you walk by him. You're like, I almost want to give this guy money. It's just incredible.
What bothers me the worst is the people with the animals. I feel so bad for the animals.
I don't see so many animals
The person
anymore.
I don't feel bad for, but the animals I feel bad for. I see them on the crosswalks.
Do you?
Yeah, they're bundled up with a thing, But if you want to buy the animal from them, they know they're just going to go get a new one tomorrow. I really, like I said, I could live in a world full of animals, no people.
Dogs are the most phenomenal things ever.
Yeah, dogs. I mean, any kind of animals. Cats. I like any animals in general, but Before we get off here for this first session, though, I posted a video of 5 coins, people that should gamble responsibly. Not, you help yourself out on video poker. So it's on there on my Twitter. What you should do and what you shouldn't do. Playing max coins at video poker. We'll talk about it after the break.
That's on your Twitter also?
Yeah, it's on the Twitter. It's a real important thing for people to know.
At Bill Krackomberger with a K. That made the bingo sign as well with a K. We'll come back. I also want to talk about this Mark Cuban sale, majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks. Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, the VSiN app, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, however you're taking us in. We sure do appreciate it. It's Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon. It's Bill Krackomberger live from Bar Canada at the D. It's college game day up in here. We got a little numbers game bingo. This is great from our listener, John. What's on there? Matriculate, Tuchus Push, Dobbs Hobbs, Splitting Bets, Under a Cloud of Smoke, Ega, Ron Burgundy. Playoffs. This is so great. Thank you, John. That's awesome. He's the guy. It all started with one sign.
Very cool. Where's John from?
John, where are you from, by the way? Phoenix.
Oh, nice.
John's from Phoenix. It's so crowded in here, we could barely hear John above that, but I think I caught Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think I made out Phoenix.
Again, he had to push his way through the crowd.
Yeah. It upsets me. The security guy, I come in, he's gone now. So we need him.
Well, you probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
Oh,
yeah. By the way, we get tweets at Beating the Book, and I just want to thank everybody and I don't know what's going on. Is there like some year-end podcast stuff happening here, Kelley?
This is where I'm supposed to be the younger, informative guy. I'm old. I don't know. There's something with Spotify doing I think Spotify Wrapped, I think is what it's called. I believe it's like a year-end, hey, this is what you listen to the most.
Al Craig.
So we're getting a lot of these, which is great, which is awesome.
We really appreciate it. Al Craig at Coach Craig 24, never in doubt. My number 1 podcast on Spotify was a numbers game with Gill and Kelley. Love a bunch of VSiN podcasts as well. ANG is my daily listen, though. Thanks, guys. This is from Bob Sacamano. Thanks, Gill, for the content. CC Kelley Bydlon, because ANG was my number 2 most listened to. Well, thank you very much on that. We'll take number 2 also in that case. This is from Logan. Shout out to you and Kelley for all these moments of entertainment and knowledge. I look forward to them every day. Megapod, by the way, was number 2 after ANG. How about that?
There you go.
And then Tim Lawson at The Better Life. Pocket Casts has informed me that a numbers game was my most listened to show this year. I come for the sports betting talk, but I stay to text Gill every time. Appreciate the jokes or pick up on fun references. And on with those. I really do appreciate that from everybody. This is from Just to Follow VSiN. He goes, Miller High Life for me at age 7. Just terrible.
Oh, yeah, High Life,
Schlitz
baby.
for me, Miller High Life for you. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of folks telling their scam situations on the Strip as well. Scott Weston also saying, my mama had coffee candy on a table in her living room. I saw candy and gobbled it up. Worst taste ever. To this day, I will not drink coffee. I'm 48, and I was probably 8-ish at the time. Every day, you guys make me laugh, and I can't thank you enough. Love the show. And on with those. We'll get to some of the scammers maybe a little later. What were you saying? By the way, Bill Krackomberger, everybody.
Hello.
And Bill Krackomberger with the K.
Let's address something, though, because I don't know who said that to you about the scams. They're becoming more and more. And what I think he's saying, or she, whoever it was, I think they're saying that in the casinos, around the slot machines, I know there's people coming in off the Strip. Security's back, just in case you want to know.
Yes, they are.
Off the Strip, they're coming in, and they look for marks to hustle. They'll look for you to say, hey, this machine here, or, they'll show them the bonus on Ultimate X or something and try to scam them on something or another. Play this machine, play that machine. I actually know of 2 different people it happened to, one of which it happened to the guy shouldn't have tried to, him and his crew. It was actually 3 of them. Big, intimidating guys, too. But my buddy from South Philly was in town and went after them all. He chased them out of the casino. They'll try to show you bonuses and say, hey, this is going to hit here. I hit these already, and they're on to me, security here. It's all BS. But if you're, local yokel from the middle of America or something, you don't know any better.
You don't know any better.
You just
not everybody's as savvy.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but, the way their pitch is actually pretty good. because you're playing video poker already, so you know the basics of video poker, and they'll show you a video poker machine that is in a bonus mode, and you can get it in a bonus mode real easy. They're trying to tell you it's happened multiple places. I know it happened over at TI, the Wynn, that whole area there. It's up and down the strip, so definitely look out for scams when you come to town. Just know that there is groups of hustlers. And they're trying to hustle you out of your money. That's their goal, is to hustle you out of your money in casinos. And I know it does go on, and people don't talk about it a lot.
Well, let me read one of these. Mike Stacks. Bellagio Conservatory last January. I'm with my girlfriend. A lady comes up, grabs both of our hands, and puts a bracelet around our wrist. Yep. She then says, money. She pulls out a yellow pad, told us to write our name, how much we gave, or should give. The list had all money amounts, but what a scam.
They have a pack. I've seen that also on the crosswalks, but I haven't seen it in the casino. Wow. They sell bracelets.
I think this was
They're actually trying to put it on your arm.
Oh, no, Bellagio Conservatory. It was inside.
No,
yeah.
And they're actually trying to put it on your arm, and they'll the casinos will throw you out.
Oh, security, sure. Of course they
Security's going to throw you out for that.
Yeah.
And they should. But, you don't want to be hustled now in the casinos even. Jesus.
That's amazing. Brian M., this one isn't really a scam. Sure. This one's more funny than just a scam. He goes, my Las Vegas Strip story is I was walking with my uncle. Guy had a sign that said, kick me in the, let's say, the chestnuts.
Yeah.
$20. Points at me and says, for you, only $10. I start stretching, doing punter warm-up kicks. Tell him I won the Ray Guy for college punter of the year.
Oh, my God.
He adds, and no, I didn't win the award, play college football or even punt in high school. But anyway, that's just a funny one. But, yeah, I mean, people have these. In the Bellagio Conservatory, someone has the brazen nature of doing that. That's incredible.
You have to keep your head on a swivel. Gill, you said this many times. There is different things that are out there around town, walking around outside casinos, but even inside casinos.
Yes.
Especially like in between the slot machines. Most of the casinos now will have a black board, a plastic particle board or something in the middle, so someone can't reach over from the next bank and grab your pocketbook or whatever's in the center here. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing, you put your pocketbook down.
Yeah. You've talked about this before.
Yes.
You gotta. By the way, I'm
things you would never think about. You're in a casino. You wouldn't think, I'm safe here.
I'm gonna push back on that. Yeah. I never put my stuff down like that, like casually.
And you're a man. Think about that.
The notion of doing that. I have a filter that won't allow me to do that because I don't want to have to worry about one more thing. So I'll never I've had, Deborah Song, fashion stylist, I always joke with her, right? Because we would get up from a dinner table, and her sunglasses would be as far away from her as possible. I'd be like, "How did those end up there?" And what do you think is going to happen to this sunglasses? People are very casual with their stuff, right? And so they're almost they're just opening up that possibility. I don't want to ever open up that possibility. But because you have to be aware of that.
You have to. You know how many times I walked through a casino, a strip casino, or especially that you'll walk through and you'll see a lady just casually playing the slot machine, her pocketbook over her shoulder would be open.
Yes.
And I'm like,
open.
Look, and I actually will say something.
Open.
And
that's right.
I'll actually say, miss, you're in Vegas here. You got to watch your pocketbook. Someone can reach right in, and they'll say, "Oh, thank you."
Oh, really? I thought they would be they'd look at you and they'd be like, "What did you take? What did you take?"
No, or they would be mind your own business. You're trying to help. I mean, and I probably should mind my own business. I see these things before they happen, though. So,
what was that you were teasing before the break about coins? What was that?
So if you play video poker, you always should play the max amount of coins because you want to go for the maximum jackpot. So what I was saying was I seen a lady, and listen, they're everywhere. You could see people play. She was playing one coin at a time instead of playing. I videotaped it, and I didn't show her face or anything. I'm not out to embarrass her. I'm just out to show people what you should and should not do. So she's playing one coin at a time on video poker, and at $2, a $2 level. The maximum will be $10 a hand, but she's playing $2 level, and she's only playing one coin at a time. Well, if she hits a royal flush, she gets 250 coins, which would be $500. You could play a quarter machine, little silver quarters, 5 quarters at a time, which you should play max. The jackpot is $1,000. So what I'm saying, you can actually play less money You know what I'm saying? Less money and get more of a return. You should never play less than the full amount on video poker. The same thing if you're going for a jackpot on a reel. If you're going for a progressive jackpot on a reel, a mega bucks, a wheel of fortune, a max, you have to play the full amount of coins. I mean, how much of a fool would you feel if you put in one coin at a time in, and instead of hitting $1 million,
it's almost worse than losing. It's almost worse than losing.
Yeah, it's almost exactly.
It's almost worse than losing.
You have to play the max coins. I'm just trying to help some people out there. If you're going to gamble on that, play it the right way.
Kelley Bydlon, you hit something last night?
Yeah, I hit 4 aces and a kicker. Playing it with the exact way Bill's talking about. We were talking about it off air. It's just one of those. That is literally something for people that play video poker. You could just say over and over again, because I think there's a lot of people that come in this town that they come to play for the free drinks and stuff like that. And they don't think about that part of it. And yeah, we might be talking a little bit more long-term players right here, Bill. But that's part of the edge that you have.
Well, you actually threw a big, giant wrench in the game. If you're there to get free drinks, and I smell cigarettes. If you're there to get free drinks, maybe there's something to playing the one coin with the bartender, and you're trying to get a free drink.
I don't think so, because it's still dollar amount.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're right. Even if you're doing $2 one time, you'd still be better off doing the 50 cents maxed out, or 25
now someone told me, you guys would know, but you would probably know better. Do they have a light that comes on after you play so many? In order to get your free drink?
It depends. Totally depends where you're playing at. But a lot of the strip hotels will be. It's not just free drinks if you're playing. It's you have to play a certain amount to get a free drink. And yes, there is usually a light. There's usually a light
comes on and says, "Okay, he's put through $10."
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's for the bartender. They see it, not you, right?
It's a red light, green light system. So if you're green, you're good for a free drink. If you're red, you're not ready yet. So the key is you order a drink, drink about half of it down, then start firing away, Bill. And then you're like, I'm green, I'm good to go.
Wow. It's amazing, huh?
Incredible. I gotta get Weston on here. There's so much he wants to say about slots and casino inefficiencies and stuff. We'll come back. More Unscripted with Crackman Bill Krackomberger right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We get tweets at beating the book. Tom Mast 313 with thousands of season tickets for sale this Sunday against the Falcons. Is this a publicity stunt by the Jets to keep fans' interest? Have the Jets learned that the need is a bona fide backup next season? Yeah, getting back to our conversation earlier that we had about Aaron Rodgers and this whole Mishugas about him coming back. Trust the glove. My Achilles and your two mock the entire convo. He won't be driving off that leg for a while. The hurt and the memory must be replaced in our heads. Mine worked out great. Apparently yours also. It did. This is the numbers guys. They sang a little jingle for us. Billy said, "Who can take a sunrise? Sprinkle it with dew." That's the old Candyman song.
The old Candyman, but they put the Crackman in. Thank you very much.
Cover it in chocolate with a miracle or two. He's got the whole lyrics down here. The Crackman can. All right, we can sing.
Funny,
We're just going to sing for the rest of the show. Numbers guys, a little jingle for you. This is from. We'll get to one here. Ryan Hyatt. Let the ANG record show. Gill will tell you about his Achilles, but he will not tell you about great sushi places. A man must have clear boundaries set when being a public figure. That's correct. You're on to me. Bainbridge DeWeese. My wife and son showed me their Spotify Wrapped videos last night. I thought they were dumb. Now I'm bummed. I don't use Spotify to listen, so I could see just how many hours I actually did listen to ANG and Beating the Book this year. Hint, it's a big number. Thank you, Bainbridge DeWeese. John B. mentioning he's the first, he's calling himself out now on Twitter. He says, "I'm the first numbers game signed guy in 5 years. We'll have thousands of fans behind the set and mascot heads." Appreciate that. This is from Indiana Jet. A few years ago, I was walking through Planet Hollywood when a guy came up and gave me a pink breast cancer awareness bracelet, then asked for a donation. I knew it was a scam per se, but I was on a heater that weekend, so I gave him $5 to avoid the bad juju. Yeah, I'd have done that too, probably. If you're on a roll, you're like, all right, just take the money.
Yeah, those are exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like it's the bracelets. Like they come in different forms and fashions, and that's exactly what they're doing. I still can't believe the one about inside the Bellagio.
Inside the Bellagio is brazen. Yeah. And Bill's right. They'll be scuttled in a heartbeat once they're found out. Just talk about this Mark Cuban thing real quick, because I'm fascinated by this. I know many people might not be, but it's interesting to me. Mark Cuban sort of I guess it was kind of out of the blue. At least I didn't know he was shopping this around.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, who was basically the full owner of the Dallas Mavericks, has sold a majority stake of the Mavericks to partly the Adelson family of the Sands Corporation here in Las Vegas. 57% is what I heard of the Dallas Mavericks at a valuation of $3.5 billion. So I don't know about y'all, but my first reaction was the Skins just got sold for $6.05 billion.
Jesus.
And they're valued as one of the most lucrative franchises in all of sports. So for the Mavericks to go for a valuation of $3.5 billion, I was like, wow, that's a lot. But, I was having a back and forth with Joe Pete about this because he tweeted about this, and Joe is far, far more intelligent about these types of financial matters than I. But it was fascinating when we were talking about it because it's sort of, not to turn this into CNBC, but it's sort of a fascinating lesson for young people in their 20s and 30s, which is actually when you think about it, while it sounds like this was this massive appreciation, by the way, he made tons of money on the deal, obviously, because he bought it a long time ago. But in the span of time, the 23 years from him purchasing the Mavericks after he sold broadcast.com for billions till now, and I think he purchased the Mavs for like less than $300 million, I want to say, and now he sold his portion for $2 billion, again at a $3.5 billion evaluation. Over those 23 years, actually, if you look at the S&P 500, the Mavericks' appreciation would rank 124th out of those 500 companies. So while it makes us for a sexy headline, if Mark Cuban had just used that money to buy Nike stock, he'd have more money now than what he just got. He'd have made more money on that proportionally. So it's what it is now. Now, obviously, it doesn't feed your ego in the same way not to own a professional franchise. And, you still don't get to run a basketball team. It's not nearly as fun having some stock as it is owning a professional sports franchise. But it is a lesson for folks in their 20s and 30s that, let me just forget Nike because some people think Nike's sexy. Let's talk about some boring old tractor company like John Deere. John Deere stock outperformed the Dallas Mavericks as an investment since 2000. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, the real lesson in all of this should be not that you shouldn't aspire to make billions and own a sports franchise, but that you should max out your 401k, do everything that everybody's telling you to do. You can make it will compound over time in a way that is actually better than that headline from Mark Cuban. That's your CNBC moment.
Okay. That was the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, that was a Wolf of Wall Street moment.
Blue chip stocks. Blue chip stocks, Billy.
Right.
I just think it's really. And by the way, I had no idea he was thinking about doing this. Now that we were also speculating earlier, not us just alone, but the scuttle on all this, the scuttlebutt, I believe the kids call it, is that now he will run for president of the United States of America.
I heard that.
Would you, Bill Krackomberger, vote for Mark Cuban?
No.
Would you bet on Mark Cuban to win the presidency?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
You would.
Would I?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, Kelley was saying, no, I don't know what he stands for.
I have no idea what he stands for besides money.
I have no idea. He is a tribesman. That's check in the good column.
No, I know, but
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I hate to bring politics in. You brought it up. I just think he'd be on the Joe Biden team. So I got nothing.
It's not Bill's team.
I want nothing to do with that.
I'm not sure he would be, by the way.
I'm trying to find someone that even voted for Biden.
I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know that that's a correct assumption.
On to sports for a second here, if you don't mind.
Sorry, you didn't like that. You didn't like that moment of finance talk?
No, the finance stuff was tough, but there's a side of me that no one knows. I get nuts with politics sometimes. It's tough for me to start talking about my palms start sweating, and I start thinking.
We weren't really talking politics.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Should he be voted for? Would I vote for him, or would I bet on him?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
bet.
No big deal. Hey, listen.
I'm normally with Bill anyways. Move beyond the politics.
I don't know. All right. Okay. Sorry to make you feel uncomfortable.
No, I don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I just. It's just a tough. It's always a tough topic at like dinner or something.
For
it's
sure.
Impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Because people believe what they believe about anything.
Yes.
There's no convincing them otherwise. Here's what I've learned. If people are going to change their opinions, it's going to have to be on their own over time. It's not because somebody else made them change their mind.
Yeah.
It just is.
I think people are fed up, though. I think people are fed up with what's going on now and stuff and things. And, I think people are really fed up, in my own opinion. We'll see what happens. Election time.
Sounds political.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, Fez sent a teaser that he just bet.
Yes.
He sent a $5,000 teaser. Which then I go and I bet the same thing. You could see right there. Okay. I said, you know what? It's not a bad idea.
Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah, sure.
Cowboys, Jaguars teaser.
Right, Cowboys, Jaguars. Now,
which Fez
situational. This is very situational because I won't bet even at Circa. I'm not laying 13-10 on a 6-point teaser. I'm not laying that. $1.20 is the most I'll lay. You can't. First of all, you can't beat more than $1.20 on a teaser. Like I said, I used to lay 6-point at 5 different shops, 6-point even money teasers when I first started betting. Went to $1.10. $1.20, yes, you could still beat it, but it's aggravating. Now there's no more $1.20 in Las Vegas. So, but he pointed out how Circa is a good teaser on this teaser, and I was like, wow. At first I was like, wow, 13-10. But he's right. Like Dallas, it's 9.5, 9 at most shops. They have 8.5. So there's a half point of value there. You're going to tease it down through the key numbers, the Wong teaser for 7, then through the 3, down to 2.5. Same thing on the other side of this teaser, Jacksonville. Circa has an 8. There's actually 9s almost everywhere. 8.5, 9s everywhere. So already you're getting the good value there on the 8. It's more of the value on the 8.5, which is tonight's game though, because I believe Circa, if you push a teaser, you lose, which I don't agree with. Sorry. Listen, I love the place, love Derek, love everything. You can't tease.
That's incorrect.
Well, you get your money back?
No, I'm saying what you're saying is. Well, I agree with you. You can't, by definition, bring a 2-team teaser down.
Yeah.
And justify it as anything else but.
No, it's not only here. It's all over town.
No, it's not all over town.
Well, no, you're right. Caesars is different.
MGM is different.
Yeah. I don't agree with that one.
No.
So, yeah. Well. So, I mean, throw me off air. I don't care. What are you going to do?
What you're saying about the Fezzik thing, it's the rare.
It's because the rare good. It's tonight's number is the keyer number.
It's the rare good minus 130 teaser is what he's saying. We're coming back. Numbers Game VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. Auburnist. I was wondering where the McLaughlin Group was being broadcast now. Do you remember that show? Morton Kondracki. It was like this round table political show back in the day.
No, don't remember.
Oh, it's old school.
That's funny.
Todd Bubba Horwitz. Compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. The markets have gone up 8.5% year over year since they started and 10% since 1950. We were talking about the Cuban sale moments ago through that lens. Jesse Welch. What's interesting to me about the whole Mark Cuban thing is that I heard him on a podcast talking about how cable's dying and that in the coming years the NBA's viewership is in major jeopardy due to streaming. Wonder if that's a factor to this. And by the way, we've gone an entire hour and a half without mentioning how easy peasy the Right Angle Sports pick was on the show yesterday.
Yep. Shout
out to Michael Craig, Ed Golden, and everybody else. Our Gary Beard among those who said, feeling bummed I didn't make the bingo board for bringing back the first initial. However, banking the over in the Davidson-Charlotte game makes things all good. We got a bunch of those from folks yesterday. They were pumped. That thing was over. We had the over. Right Angle Sports gave us out the over in the Davidson-Charlotte game. It had gone over the total with 8 minutes left in the game, and I think ended up over 160, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't see the final score. I saw the score at halftime, though, and it was still like it was like 33-36 or something.
Still in doubt.
They must have scored a ton earlier in the second half.
That's exactly right.
I got a couple tweets and texts then, right when it hit.
Let's see. Over the levy, still $1.10 with a local on 6-point teasers. Legal sports betting all over the country, and the underground business is bigger than ever. You know what that did jog my memory on when we were just talking about some other stuff before the break. Fezzik's teaser.
Yep.
Did you see this same game parlay over at ESPN Bet making the rounds on Twitter?
Yeah, that was.
You see this, Kelley?
It's a bad deal.
So it was. I'm doing this off memory. I think it was like a 6-legger. Don't hold me to that. It could have been 5. But everyone hit but one was a push, right?
The one push, the rest of them.
The rest of them won, and it was a multi-leg. Was it a parlay or a teaser? I think it was a parlay, wasn't it?
I think it was a parlay.
Yeah.
Parlay, multi-leg parlay. And
it was like 5 or 6 legs. You're right. I don't remember the details, but it was like 5 or 6.
And they didn't get paid on it.
I wouldn't be surprised with that book.
Now here's the thing. This is a key detail. it's a same-game parlay. So I'm curious, because we don't have ESPN Bet. Obviously, if it's a regular parlay and they are not paying out for that, that is just wrong, right? Because there is a mathematical formula to it, and you get paid on it. The issue with the same-game parlay, and I'm curious about this because I don't know because we don't have them here, with the exception of one book now, Caesars, right? But I haven't done them to any extent and have not had that kind of situation happen. So if on a same-game parlay, because the math is by definition incorrect.
Correct.
Right? You're not getting as much bang for your buck as you would have had you built it by yourself, or even if you were allowed to have done it by yourself, which in many cases you're not because they're correlated. Because of the fact that you are playing something that is oftentimes correlated and doesn't, whether it's correlated or not, doesn't have the proper bang for your buck, do they get away with that because there's no mathematical way, therefore, to correct something that is already fuzzy math?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still think that it somehow should have reverted somehow.
I do too, but I think that's the answer.
Now that you put that into the mix, that's the old Barstool book.
Yes.
And I know there's all the stoolies they love. They loved Portnoy and stuff, and he's very funny. Great pizza reviews. I just hated when he came on and talked about how us sports bettors are so bad and related us to blackjack card counters. We have to get rid of these guys that know what they're doing. Nothing would surprise me over there. Am I right? ESPN Bet is is the old Barstool, right?
Yeah, it's the old Barstool. Well,
Penn Gaming, right?
Yeah, it was that, and then Mm-hmm. Or I guess it's.
So I don't know. Let's get some tweets on it. I'm sure there's people at the rest of the country same game parlays. Have you pushed on a leg? What happened? Because I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. But that is my guess. My guess is that something that is not mathematically sound, they get away with that because of that.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make it any better, by the way. But I think that's my guess. I could be very wrong.
I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, but you're right to your point, Bill. But whatever the case is, it goes against the constitution of betting. Period. Right? It goes against the spirit of if you hit 5 out of 6 legs of something like that, and the other one is a push, the fact that you wouldn't get paid out on it just goes against the integrity of everything.
Yeah. Now you have to watch these things, and these, they're not giving you nothing. Trust me. The sports books are tightening down more and more on any kind of bonus, promotion, boost. Boy, I'll tell you, when they first started, though, in Jersey, it was bombs over Tokyo. It was unbelievable how many people were out there collecting some sick bonus. Look at Randy and the whole crew. They moved to Colorado based on Colorado getting sports betting. That's how juicy the bonuses were. I mean,
lived in North Dakota his whole life, and it's like I can't resist any longer.
Oh no! I mean, how can you not? They were giving away 5-figure bonuses. They were literally giving away real money. It wasn't free bets. It was 5-figure bonuses they were giving away, and it just some of the deals that they had casino. How many casino hosts I know jumped over from being a host in a casino to working for DraftKings, FanDuel, Barstool? They've all were over there giving out ridiculous bonuses, and they were great. They were great for all of us that took advantage of it back then. They're gone though. Now they give you, you bet $5, you get $200 back. I mean, but back in the day, they were and some of the boost bets. I know a guy that was making a living just off boost bets, which are normally a bad bet. However, he found where they were a good bet, some of the boost, and he would go in there and literally every single Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night he was betting the boost, and he was just killing it. And it was on DK.
I've asked you this before. Yeah. I'll ask you this again. We're now more than 5 years past the ruling of PASPA being unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court in May of 2018. If we could go back to that day, and it's you and I talking, and if I said to you, hey, 5 years from now, what do you picture the whole landscape being? Do you think it would have been close to this? Put yourself in your brain then.
I think, because I didn't know it was going to be so many states. What do we have, 30 states?
31 or 31. Something? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if I was to look back at it now, I thought now it would be better than it is, believe it or not.
Yes, I think that's the consensus.
Yeah, I thought it would.
When you consider the limiting, now a lack of bonuses, when you put it all in the mix.
Let's face it. I can go back to New Jersey. I used to go back all the time. How many times was I on your show during this time of the year?
Always.
I went back once this whole season. And
you used to be in Jersey all the time.
I used to go all the time. And I don't do it anymore because all the apps, they do not want guys that win. They don't want people that win. So if you don't win, I mean, if you're
also
welcome
love the
to come
bonuses
in,
too, right?
Well, the bonuses were good too.
Yeah.
However, I would still play because the numbers are so soft. I would still play the DraftKings, the FanDuels, the Barstools, which is now called ESPN Bet, the different sports books back in New Jersey. I would play all these sports books if they allowed me to play on the app. I'm only allowed to play at the counter, which I'm actually happy I am allowed to play at the counter because the numbers are that good sometimes on these different types of bets that are still good to play.
The other part of it, and I would have put this as us thinking this at like minus 500. That we would have thought Nevada would have changed by now.
Oh, definitely.
Minus 500 minimum, we would have thought that.
Definitely.
That other operators would have been in by now. But it didn't take long, though, for us. I'd say in the 5-year span, I would say a year and a half in for me, I was like, oh, this may never happen.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, really.
For multiple reasons.
You have places here that control risk for the country, but yet you're not allowed to play in Nevada here. It's unbelievable. It really is.
It's both sides, right? There's the lobby here, the stations types that don't want these folks in because they got their local folks.
Yes.
And then it's also, I would say, the bigger operators elsewhere who probably at some point look at Nevada, and as sexy as Las Vegas is specifically, Nevada is not populous enough to really care that much ultimately about.
That's good. You're right.
Where they're probably like, it's not really worth this hassle. So. Again,
I think it's a little bit of both. I think I'm still surprised there's not more operators here, but it's crazy. It's crazy how long it's been since I've even thought about that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We
used to bring it up. We used to bring it up all the time.
So true.
And for 99% of the public, it's absolutely fine. They come here, they can play with their apps here in town and stuff. They don't need the DraftKings and FanDuels here. I understand.
Well, we were just talking about the operation of the Caesars app and how bad the app is.
App's terrible.
And Kelley had the best comment. He's like, just for pride in your job, don't you care to fix this app? And the answer is, I guess they don't.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
They don't want bets.
No. They offer a lot of ways to bet.
Sorry, we're refreshing again.
They offer a lot of ways to bet, but you're right. The app is no good.
We'll come back, wrap things up with Crackman. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. It's Gill Alexander. After this show, I'll be doing the Megapod from this desk. Will Hill, Todd Wishnev, and I welcome a gentleman upon whose shoulders the podcast was built in part. VR Ace, by popular demand, on the show. So we're looking forward to that coming up. We get tweets at Beatty the Book. Thank you, everybody, for being so responsive about everything. This is from Todd Bubba Horwitz. He said, ESPN is just stealing with that. He says, but people still bet through them. I've pushed the parlay when it gets taken down one leg. It happened to him. Matthew Mayberry says, on DK, most SGP legs have a half point, so there aren't many pushes. Not all legs, but most do have a half.
That's good.
Silent Mike D. Hey, Silent Mike D, how you doing? He goes, Gill, you're absolutely correct concerning stock market versus the Mavericks, but you're not counting any cash he's pulled out of the Mavs in 20 years, similar to dividends paid out. You are correct, sir. This is removing that from the equation. Yes, that is correct. This is from a lot of people commenting on the same game parlay stuff. Montreal Max. I know you like Montreal Max. He said,
good guy.
On your same game parlay push topic, I saw this poster had the same thing happen using Bet365 on same game props. So in other words, hit every leg of a parlay, but one was a push.
Jesus.
Didn't get paid out.
It's a giant parlay, too.
Caesars, this is from my.02. He says, Caesars also will call a same-game parlay a push with one void, whereas Carter Wilcher said, I also saw that scenario of one push, but another leg loses, it's graded as a loss, meaning if early leg pushes instead of a total voided push, it waits to see if a later leg loses to grade as a loss. Can't 100% confirm, but yikes if so. Yes, that's a great point, too, that you win them all, but you push on one. you get you don't get the win. You get refunded. But in that scenario, what he's talking about, where you get a loss early, instead of it being, they wait to see. Oh no, there's like a push early. Let me get this right. But basically, it's the same scenario. If you get a push early, they wait to see if you get a loss. Obviously, beforehand, it doesn't get refunded immediately, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's kind of a free roll.
So it's still live until it's not.
Right.
Basically.
Jason Stark, hey, Gill and Kelley. Now here's the other side. Right? He goes, both DK and Advocate Coral. If you push one leg of an SGP, they recalculate it and they do pay you.
Okay, so like that's
it's book by book.
It's book by book. That was the question.
And he says ESPN bet is criminal.
Thank you, everybody, for tweeting it.
Thank you.
That was the question.
Yes.
Was the same game parlay? If there's one leg of that.
It's about same game parlays. So I think I'm right about they get away with that because the math is already fuzzy on those, and because something is created with fuzzy math, they can't fuzzy math you back down, sort of thing. I could be wrong about that. I think that's the reason. And by the way, and what we've learned here is that books play it differently from book to book. So know that going in. Everybody chiming in. Really appreciate that. Should I read this? Bert Wiedemeyer. Valid points, Gill, about the SGP. But to me, no matter how you swing it, they need to get paid. By the way, how was Bookie last night? Can't wait to see it. Oh, by the way, Bookie premiered it premieres today after midnight. So it's on today, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we were saying that yesterday, it was midnight yesterday.
Yes, it's actually, in real life terms, it's today.
Yeah, yes, correct. Yeah.
By the way, Bukai didn't correct me on it either. He was
I think that's kind of the TV world we live in, right?
Yeah.
It was probably midnight Eastern, right? So it was probably even 9 o'clock.
The reason I didn't give a time is because we live in a world now where times are so fluid with this stuff. It doesn't matter.
Go watch it.
It's up. Yeah, Bookie is now up. I haven't seen it yet.
And I don't know, how many things have we talked about today that have to do exactly with the same topic? I love the idea of the show.
Yes.
Of just you're a struggling bookie in California because all these other states are legalizing it around you, and your job's going to disappear.
And legalization is looming in California, so they think.
Like, how many things have we talked about on the show today that it's like they all have to do with like this whole weird world of betting that we're in, depending on which state you live in. It's incredible.
Sorry, guys. Had to get a little shot of hot toddy back there.
You okay?
A little tickle. No, I wanted to ask about the bookie thing too. So, it wasn't on.
No, well, it is. It's available right now, but we haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
We had Nick Bukai on
I know
yesterday.
You did.
Yeah, Nick Bukai, who's just awesome. It stars Sebastian Maniscalco and Charlie Sheen, among others. Omar Dorsey's on there as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. How cool, Sebastian, doing all these kind of movies. He's been in so many, like The Irishman.
Can you listen to an hour and a half, 2 hours of Maniscalco talking like that?
Yeah.
But in doses like this on a show, it's probably great.
Yeah, he was in The Green Book, which was, I think, The Green Book? No, The Green Book, right? Yeah, it was fantastic.
I didn't see that.
Academy Award-winning movie. I can't believe you guys didn't see it. Yeah, I think you guys you would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get out much anymore.
Well, you don't have to get out for that.
Got to get all your tips from Ortega, on these.
Ortega's. We got to get the very snobby Oscar picks from Brian Ortega coming up at some point.
Someone asked, Stringfellow Hawk asked, can you guys explain why laying the 9 minus 08 is better than laying minus 8.5 minus 15? I don't actually know the value of each one, but I could just tell you, like the 9, pretty much a dead number. Yes, of course, I'd rather lay the minus 9 minus 08 than rather lay in 15 cents on the 8.5. There are sometimes you'll see charts. I know Las Vegas Chris put up a really good chart a couple of years ago, how the value of each number and or how many times the numbers come out. But that's a situation where, and I don't know where you're looking at the lines there. You have lines from different sports books. That's pretty cool, actually. That means you're a shopper. You're shopping lines. And I do see that, yes, in that case, sir, minus 9, minus 08, it's just 7 cents more for to land on the 9. The 9's not worth 7 cents, so that's part of an answer there. But nice tweets from every week. We get a ton of tweets. Really good.
Best listeners, I will say this till I die, is the best listeners ever on a numbers game. Really.
They really
just
are.
love it. Lou Finicaro texting in, just talking about what we were briefly talking about with bookies. Like, street bookies will always be around because they take money on the cuff, meaning up front, no cash down. He's
Lou
right.
is spot on.
He's right about that, 100%
spot
right.
on. Yeah, I mean,
we don't doubt
the only
that.
thing with that, Lou, because I know I've had a lot of experience over the years. I used to bet with a lot of street. Listen, that's where I'm from. So throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, I guess 80s, 90s.
90s, we all did still through the 90s.
Yeah, 90s,
yeah.
2000s.
Well.
The problem is it's the exact opposite of what it was back then. Then you had to worry about the players not paying if you're a bookmaker. Now I worry about the street bookmaker not paying.
Great call.
If I had 50% of what I'm owed by street bookmakers in my life, I would probably just give everything up. It's a sick number. It's a sick number. Bookmakers just they don't have to pay because of all these new PPH business that stands for pay per head. The only show on the network that could probably talk about this. A proper explanation. Everyone could be a bookmaker now. You can go to a site. You could send $500 to an offshore site, and all of a sudden now you get a bank of account numbers. You can give them out to people in the poker room, and now you're a bookmaker. So that's why I can't trust bookmakers now. I have to play with brick and mortars because I do not trust bookmakers to pay me street books. Yeah. So, but they'll always be around, of course. And not only will they always be around. I remember the New York Post. I talked about this once or twice on the show when Pabst was reversed, and I remember the New York Post said the end of the mafia. Like, where did this writer come from? Mars? No, not the end of the mafia. It's actually going to be bigger for the street bookmaker down the line. Because what happens? You're introducing gambling to a whole new genre of kids and new people that never gambled before. Well, what happens after they don't have post-up money anymore? They go to their local they go to their local bar, their local pool hall, and they say, I used to play with this book. I've just right now I don't have no money. Oh, no, my buddy books. Yeah, he'll give you an account, and you can pay when you get paid. So now all the street bookmakers are going to make more money in the end because they have more volume from people that never gambled before. So that, in my opinion, and by the way, they don't have the money to pay. So with street bookmakers, you have to pay.
Bookie on Max, available now.
Yeah. Let's see what this is.
Where we talk about the 9.5, the 8. You have any play on tonight's game? Seattle and Dallas? Anything?
I just bet that with Fez. I bet the $5,000 like Fez.
The teaser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because it's the only 8.5 available. So it's not a bad 6-point teaser. You could tease it down, and then you could get off your position. You can middle the game. I usually don't do that, but you.
Kelley, you're
that.
on the teaser as well.
I'm on the same thing. Yep.
Cowboys leg. Who did you pair it with?
Cowboys and Jags. Same thing.
Cowboys and Jags.
Yeah,
you did.
teased that on the opener.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
No.
Not in the long teaser range in most spots right now at 9 consensus on this. But as we talked about, some people might manipulate as well. Bill, thank you as always.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Bill Krackomberger at Bill Crackman with a K.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.